There's one, and this is just a 3-foot section of 2x6, and I need 7 of them, so let's keep cutting. All right, everybody, we're back today. I gotta dig a utility trench. Right here where you see the white stake, they're gonna be putting in a pad mounted transformer. And I need to come off that hill up above me, down to that stake, and then I gotta come off to the side, kind of where my head is. And I'm gonna be building an electric pedestal to mount the meter base and stuff on. It's gonna be considered a temporary service until I get my building built. The problem is here's the stake. This is where the trench needs to come down off that hill and come to. I just started doing kind of a little bit of a test dig just to see how hard it was, because I was worried. You can see there's like rock ledge in this bank, and I encountered my first rock, which is way beyond the size of me being able to get it out. So I'm thinking I'm gonna come down off this side of the rock. That may mean that I have to take out this tree, which it's dead anyway, so I might just drop that and then shoot to go where this smaller rock is, move that, come up over the bank, and then I'll be going kind of angled across the field. But for right now, let's see, I might just drop this tree. All right, guys, so the other day I was having a pretty off day. I should have asked for some help with this pedestal. I had it attached to my bucket. It ended up falling. It crushed the sonotubes. It fell sideways. It actually broke the tripod that the GoPro was on. So at that point I was pretty frustrated, and I actually just turned the camera off and proceeded to continue to work. It took me a lot longer than if I would have just asked for help, but anyway, in the meantime, I was able to get the pedestal in. The sonotubes are duct taped together, but all the concrete's poured. They're secure. I stabilized it, leveled it out. I got my meter base here. I just installed some wires, put in some PVC, and then this is my, if I can get it undone here. This is going to be my feed-through panel. Now there will be a panel in front of that so you can only see the breakers, and you can't get any exposed wires there. So that'll be on once I get my outdoor 50 amp 220 receptacle for welders, and then I'm going to have a 20 amp just 120 outlets for extension cords, run some lights over the shipping container. So what we're about to do now is we actually need to excavate some of this. Right here where this white stake is, pad mounted transformer is going to go. I was told they need a 10 by 10 by about 4 feet deep trench or spot dug out there so they can set the fiberglass base and then the transformer on top of it. From this riser tube to that stake, I need to be at least 3 feet down so I can connect the conduit with the elbow. I also need to put my ground rods. They're 8 feet long. They need to go down in the ditch and get connected up into the meter base down here at this ground lug. So I'm gonna go grab my excavator, let that warm up, and let's start digging this trench, digging this out. We might even start digging the actual trench today because they should be coming next week to install this. All right, guys. Well, I was working on this last night in the dark. This hill here was a little sketchy. I still have a spot there that I got to dig out, but at least down there is definitely all good to go. Up here, started hitting rock. Definitely hit rock. Things started looking a little bit promising. Started getting deeper, then hit nothing but rock. And I think it's mainly red shale. I was breaking up a lot of it, but I'm definitely gonna need to get a hammer. I have to be at least 3 feet deep, and right now I'm lucky if I'm 1.5 feet. Once again, started getting deeper. I'm like, okay, perfect. Hit rock again, and the spot that's really bad is right here, where I didn't even get 6 inches below the surface, and it's just solid. Pulled out some really big stones, one there. There's a handful back here that are just large slabs. Really rough dig. So I'm about to go see if I can get my hands on an excavator with a rock hammer, do some hammering. I mean, you can see like this here is bluestone, and it's just, I just happened to find a vein to break through, but this sucks. So let's see if I can find a rock hammer and an excavator and get this taken care of. All right, guys, we're back today. I was digging this trench the other night in the dark, and it was pretty hard to film, so I ended up taking the camera off. But bad news is I had to hire somebody else with a large machine and a hammer to break up a lot of the stone. Good news is did a really good job of breaking it up, and it's been really easy digging so far today. So this is all pretty well cleaned out through here. We need to be 42 inches deep. Then we have to put in some sand, lay the direct bury cable in, put about 1 foot of sand on top of it, and then we can fill it back in. We have a high spot right here for about, I don't know, 10 feet. So we might have to hammer that out again. I am gonna try to use the excavator to scratch through, but look at this solid bluestone. Just, he hammered through that with ease, and now I'm able to just scratch it right out. So we still got quite a bit of mess to go, but what I'm doing is all this rocky stuff, loading in the dump truck. We're dumping it down over the bank into a pile. Eventually, I'm sure I'm gonna need some more fill, so I'll use this and maybe pull some topsoil from somewhere else on the property. But so far, it looks like the trench is gonna be done in time, and power should be installed later this week. So, all right, as soon as he's done, we'll get back to loading him up and coming down this trench. All right, everyone, now that it's daylight, you can see a lot of leaves fell overnight, but we got all the sand in the trench, got the conduit in. I didn't hook this one up yet because the pad mounted transformer is going to go here, and I just didn't know how long to cut that yet. Meter base got inspected. Meter base is all hooked up. Got that going over to my feed through panel, and then just finished setting the feed through panel up. Got it all equipped. I got a 50 amp double pole breaker and a 20 amp single pole breaker. What I did over here was I took a RV outlet, converted it to a 50 amp welding plug. I have 6 gauge running through this flexible conduit. I am going to tie this back. I left it long now because, you know, down the road when I take this setup off the pedestal and put it on my building, I might want to use this somewhere else, and I don't want to cut it short. Same thing here. I got 4 outdoor outlets. I got to adjust these a little bit. They're not quite sitting in there very well, but this has got 10 gauge going to it. It only needed 12 wire, but I had some 10 laying around, so I used that. Ground cables in, my ground rods are in the ground. We're all set up. We're just waiting on the utility company. They should be here tomorrow or Friday, and we'll get this installed and hooked up and make sure we have power. All right, crews are on site today. They're going to be installing the primary cable, hooking it up to this energized transformer. Primary is going to run down my trench here over the hill. They're installing a new pad mounted transformer, which my power will come off of. This primary here is going to have 7200 volts going through it, and then it gets stepped down to 240 down there. But all right, let's check out what they're doing down there. All right, so we got the transformer all set. We're officially in power. This is a great feeling. While the crews were here, I filled it back in with sand, so this way everything was covered. We put an extra piece of core flow in there, so down the road when I put it in my building, we can go right to that with the new conduit and come right out of that, so this way I can eliminate this temporary service. And it's time to backfill, so I'm going to backfill up to that point, and then I'm going to need to get some more sand to do the rest of the trench, but let's get backfilling. All right, everyone. So my electric's been installed for probably the last 3 or 4 weeks now. Since then, I have moved some of these boulders around where the transformer and the power pedestal is, just in case, you know, in the dark, backing up. Didn't want anybody to run into it. But just to look over the trench here, got a little bit of dirt here that I need to move and fill in this gap. But overall, whole trench got filled back in, and I need to go through with my rock rake up a lot of these stones. May even add some topsoil come springtime, grass seed and hay. Probably won't get to raking this until it's dark out, and by then it will be hard to videotape. So I'm gonna end this video now, but as always, thanks for watching. Like, leave a comment, and subscribe.